to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just want to give a friendly reminder. I don't know if anybody is going to have questions at the end, but just a fresh reminder, we have the format now. If you have questions or comments for at the end of the meeting, you can write them down and leave them, and the clerk will collect them, and then when we go through the questions, they'll already written down. So I just want to give that reminder. And then thank you all for joining us. We're back in the swing of school. And summer's supposedly over, although it feels really hot. So I wore my fall sweater today to try and summarize it in first world. So I am going to now hand over the meeting to our superintendent.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Case, and welcome everyone. I'm going to do this presentation from my seat because I hear from the folks at home that I am not loud enough when I present. Mr. DeVito is much better at projecting the voice. Tonight's one of my favorite presentations to give. I don't usually get to give it, but I do this year because it summarizes our district's achievements from the prior year, all of the ways that our students have shined in our community, shined, Dr. Ryan's not here, so he's covered it down, and all the ways that we help our students to thrive in Long Beach. And I do know it's a comprehensive presentation. I do know there's a certain baseball game on tonight at 7 o'clock that some people are invested in seeing. In fact, maybe that's why Dr. Ryan's not here. Maybe oh yeah, it is start 6 o'clock. Maybe that's our Boston friend here. I had to run home to breathe. I hope. But this is available on the website. I really would urge people, whether here or at home, if you have not given a look at this, it's something to be really proud of. And I have to say, the reason we're proud of it, the reason we've been able to achieve that, some of the people sitting in these seats who have worked so hard to help our kids do so well this year. So moving right into it, we thrived in academics this year. If you look at our elementary and the BOE results, you'll see I highlighted a little bit both kindergarten and third grade. First of all, before we look at that, just look at the progression over the years. This is the number of students who meet their growth targets, percent. If you look at 2018, most of those numbers were in the 40s to maybe the low 60s. If you look at this year, most of our numbers range from the 60s even into the 80s. So that is a remarkable progression of achievement over the last 7 years. Kindergarten, an astounding 84% of the students met their math targets and 73% in reading. And I credit that to this being the first kindergarten that went through our full-day pre-K program. The benefits of that program, which will be lifelong, are already starting to manifest themselves. And then the other one I highlighted was third grade. On NWEA, the test is read to students. It's auditory up until third grade. In third grade, they have to read it for themselves. So that's a key year for us to look at to see if their comprehension levels are such that they can, manage this test themselves. So to see almost 70% of our kids meeting their growth targets is significant. Our state proficiency rates, and board members, this is hot off the press. I added something that's not even on your copies tonight because I just found the county rates this afternoon. From last year's New York State test, you can see that in almost every area, we went up considerably from the year before. In almost every area, we are above the county average and mostly considerably. Why is that significant? We should be above the county average, you might say. Well, Long Beach is probably in the top 20% of districts in the county in terms of IB. We have a large percentage of students in poverty, English language learners, students with disabilities. So for us to be in the higher end of the needs in the county, but surpassing the county average by those levels, that's a really significant achievement for us. More celebrations at our elementary level. I won't go through all this, you can read them, but we had student accolades and winners at many different avenues and many different opportunities. In our middle school, we did an iReady benchmark assessment in our middle school, and you can see that we were successful in moving more students to at or above grade level. 31% students more at the end of the year were above grade level. And we were also successful at moving students who were significantly below grade level out of that situation. So a success there as well. Our middle school accelerated Regents exams given in grade 8. These are ninth grade tests that the students take in 8th grade, and about 40% of our middle school students are accelerated. You can see we had terrific results there. Any parent would be proud to see those numbers on the report card. More accolades and honors for our middle school. Personal favorite for me is always watching one of our middle school experiments launched into space. We have space watch parties. That's something kids will never forget. At our high school, so again, our county averages in the last column, you can see our 2025 region scores. And you can see solid region scores in most areas. We have a couple of regions that seem to be tough for us. Geometry, this year's chemistry was a tough one for us, a little below the county in those areas. But almost all above the county average, close to the county average in others. And while it doesn't say this on this chart, when I first started in this district 10 years ago, we were significantly below the county average in nearly every region's exam. So that is remarkable progress again. And again, why is that important? Because our students come to us with a high level of need. We have a very high level of new English language learners at the high school level. Imagine not knowing English and having to learn curriculum well enough to pass a Regents exam. And if, having a daughter who is in that situation, I know that it's really difficult for English language learners to do it, and they have remarkable success with students. Our IB results. So if you look at the bottom, we gave, or the last column rather, we gave 718 IB tests this year. We pretty much, recovered from the COVID years. And we had 616 or 86% or earning scores of between 4 and 7. And for those of you not familiar with the IB, those represent scores that earn the students credit. They're the passing scores on the IB exam. So solid results there. This is significant because we're giving these exams, we're giving more and more exams, we have more and more students being successful. And if you look at it in conjunction with the next slide, we've added some AP courses over the past few years, particularly AP courses that our freshmen and sophomores can access, because IB is not available for freshmen and sophomores according to the IB network. We've added some AP exams and AP courses that freshmen and sophomores can take. So we've increased, if you look at from 2019 to 2025, we've almost doubled the number of AP court exams that we're giving. And we've maintained a very high passing rate on those AP courses as well. So our students are challenging themselves more and they're being successful more. We had a I am going to read this one, 96% graduation rate, yet again, that's an amazing graduation rate. 20 years ago, Long High School's graduation rate was below 80. We had acceptances into the top colleges and universities, including a Harvard this year. 74 students earned the seal of biliteracy. That means they improve literacy in both English and another language. 140 students earned the seal of civic readiness, one of the highest percentages in the county. That's a seal where you demonstrate your knowledge of civics and community awareness. We had 3 National Merit Commended students. Our robotics team, which is just 4 years old, finished in the top 10 in the region, which is a really great finish for a relatively new team. And we had multiple science research awards and fellowships. Students doing summer research at Brown and Stony Brook and some really fine universities. We thrived in the arts. For the 15th year in a row, we were named one of the best communities for music education by the NAM Foundation. We had a ton of art honors and awards. You can see all the ways that our students showcase their talents in various contests and festivals. We thrived in athletics. Arnie sent me such a long list, I could hardly fit it on one slide. But all the different ways, different sports that our students received accolades in, and all the ways that we demonstrated that we have competitive athletic teams in local high school. And last but not least, we helped our community to thrive. And that's something that we've been really working on, that sense of giving back to the community, making sure our students know that we pay it forward. We use what we learned and the successes that we have, and we try to assist our community members in need. And here's some great highlights of ways that we've helped our community. Food drives, toy drives, our annual Beauty and the Beast wrestling and gymnastics tournament raised more than $5,000 for some covering. Dr. Natalia hosts a great boutique that makes thrifting cool and helps our students to, think about what they need and what they can give away, and also helps people in need in our community. A number of ways to honor our service people, and working with our athletic teams involved in community activities. Every athletic team was involved in some community service this year, which is really a remarkable thing. So with all that said, I again have to give kudos to my staff here. This is because of you and because of the people who are in our district, in our buildings, drive our buses, do all of the things that it takes to make this district great. And I could not be honored to be the leader here. So for this year, what are we looking to focus on? Now, you'll see in each of these slides, we focus on the left, kind of the vertical text is the value from our 5-year strategic plan, opportunity, engagement, and achievement. And we have a top goal, which is kind of our big goal for that area, the one that we thought was most important that we accomplished this year. That's kind of the bold print. So an opportunity, we really want to increase student and family belonging, our partnership with families, and our students and staff well-being. Some of you know that we just opened a wellness center at our high school. We're looking forward to increasing our wellness programming at all levels and for our staff as well. Really knowing that we need to focus on the growth of the whole person, not just the academic piece. Because if our students are healthy and safe and feel confident, they will be able to succeed academically. We also want to continue to increase our district's connection to industry partners. We have some great connections. We want to expand it even more. So we're going to be having meetings of parents and community members with certain careers, and we're going to ask you to help us, tell us what we need to do to get kids ready for those careers. Ask if you could possibly host some interns, or if there are some ways that we can partner with you as a district. We've started doing that work already. Jackie McCann at the high school already has tons of contacts who help with career and opportunities for our kids. Our internships have been growing every year, but we hope that these additional committees will widen our perspective even more. We, as you may know, we'll talk about this again in a minute, but we are proposing the passage of a bond for capital improvements in all of our buildings on October 28th. We hope that people will come out and vote for improvements that will help us to improve this health, safety, and programming for our children. And we made some major changes in the structure of our mental health supports last year. We want to really evaluate those changes and make sure that we're doing right by our students in that area, and continue our outreach to underserved communities to make sure that everyone feels that they have a place at the table in Long Beach. That's super important to us. In terms of engagement, we really want to develop metrics this year to evaluate the quality of assignments and engagement levels. We talk a lot about student engagement, about performance-based assessment, making sure kids are really involved in their work, not just kind of the old way of learning where you take it in and spit it back out. So we have to work on some ways to measure that. It's a little bit difficult to measure that. We want to work on some ways that our teachers can use those metrics to help them design engaging lessons and lessons that really reflect a high level of rigor and quality. We are going to continue both our formal and informal meetings among administrators and students. I usually pop over to the high school a few times a year and sit in the cafeteria at lunchtime, and this administration feeds kids into me who have something they want to tell the administration. It's one of my favorite things to do. We have a student board member who I think is here tonight. Yes, Grayson Schroeder will be appointed tonight as our ex officio student board member, and we're grateful for his support. And Grayson, I'm going to be tapping on you to try to help us engage more students in some things. We are going to investigate some cool curriculum possibilities. We really want to put a Bloomberg lab in our high school. Several local high schools have invested in that. If you don't know what a Bloomberg lab is, you actually purchase the Bloomberg terminal, and it gives you access to a whole wealth of information, not just business and finance information, but research information, things that we can use across a whole host of curricular and research areas. We're kind of excited about doing that. We think that'll bring certainly our business programming to the next level and will give us some resources that we don't currently have access to for our kids in our high school. We are talking about establishing, we hope as soon as next year, a cybersecurity pathway that is a huge up and coming career. It is a difficult career to prepare for. It's a big college major. We want to make sure that what we're doing with our students in high school is prepping the students who are interested in that for that career. So we have that on the table. And we're trying to put in more electives, more career exploration opportunities, even as young as middle school, so that students are thinking, even in middle school, what are my passions? What do I want to do? What am I really interested in? We want to do some investigation of the uses of augmented reality and virtual reality. Now, that always scares me a little bit, and I put on those med glasses and felt dizzy. But there are ways now that these tools are being used for accommodations for special needs students. Many of you know that my two daughters are legally blind, and eye doctor yesterday was telling me that some of these meta classes actually are giving people the ability to see or to have an experience like sight. That is incredible. And for some of our students with some disabilities, we really want to make sure we're on the cutting edge of this, and it requires us to do a little research and connection in order to do that. And we want to create more opportunities for performance-based authentic assessments and real-world learning. That's the best way to learn, right? And that's what engages our students, and that's the direction the state is moving in with the graduation requirements at the high school level. So we want to be there and excited for that as well. And then finally, we hope all of this leads to higher achievement. This year, we're going to do some work on evaluating our interventions. Are our interventions providing students with a pathway to independence and a pathway to success, however you define that? And all kinds of interventions, whether it's academic interventions, social emotional interventions. We actually are going to be visited by a critical friends group called the Tri-State Consortium in November, made up of people from all over the Tri-State area who work in school districts, administrators, teachers. And they're going to give us some thoughts about, oh, this is something I saw you do really well. This is something I thought about from another district I visited. You might want to think about adopting. This group has been very successful in kind of helping people get to the next level with things like this. We want to fully align, as mentioned, the performance-based assessments and rubrics. We want to fully align the Long Beach local undergraduate, which we developed about 5 years ago, to the new New York State profile undergraduate. It's pretty close. We just want to make sure that they're in alignment because that's going to start to be part of the graduation requirement. And we want to continue to increase our toolbox of reading interventions. We've been doing that for the past few years anyway. There is no perfect reading program. I say that all the time. People learn to read in different ways. The key is to make sure that we diagnose correctly and have the toolkit to reach kids in multiple manners. And we want to encourage student participation in these regional contests. It's so great to see our kids out there competing against other schools, being successful, feeling the pleasure of knowing whether as a team or as an individual that you achieve something really important. So we want to continue to encourage that as well. And with that, questions or comments?
Go ahead, Ms. Felsen.
Okay, I'll go first. First off, I find this so incredibly exciting. The numbers speak for themselves, but like you said, this does not happen in a vacuum. This happens because of our wonderful people, our administrators, our teachers, guys in the trenches. We appreciate everything that you do for our children. And like I said, the numbers speak for themselves, and I find this so exciting. And the future for Long Beach schools just looks brighter every year. So again, publicly, thank you for all that you do for our children.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gallagher, for your presentation. It's always good to start the meeting off with great news. I'd like to echo Ms. Bell's statements, thanking our staff. It takes a village. You all work hard together. Our teachers are our frontliners. You guys who work with our kids day by day. And it's because of your support that our children are feeling the confidence they need to continue to strive and face the challenges. I do have a couple of questions about, I've always had issues with the NWEA. I know you always say it's the gold standard, but how accurate really are the test results?
Yeah, so the reason I say it's the gold standard, is it's normed with over 6 million students, and that's almost unheard of. None of the state tests are, none of the regions are. So we know that when we're measuring something, we're measuring against a large enough group to give us accurate data. And statistical analysis, it's an adequate sample size. And, they also don't play around with it much. With the state tests, sometimes they change cut points, and NWEA is designed by statisticians and, people who design tests, and it really is a very valuable and valid measurement of student success and growth. That we typically track the growth, but if I can show you the achievement as well. Our achievement levels have grown over the years as well. So parallel to the growth, you can see that our achievement has gone up as well. So I think it's the best of our measures, to be honest with you.
Do you think it's better than the IME as well?
Absolutely. And I'm gonna say, my friends who are my colleagues know that I am not the biggest iReady fan. Not curriculum, I think it's a very good curriculum, but when a curriculum is tied to an assessment, there's bias there.
Right.
So I am always leery of taking iReady too seriously. But when iReady reflects the same thing that our state tests do and our NWEA does, it's a story and a pattern that we can't deny.
Okay. And also when you see that our Regents exams, our proficiency has gone up over the years, which is wonderful, and it's due to kids' hard work, teachers' hard work, and our administrators' hard work. And then there's geometry.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's always, it's like a different animal.
It's a tough exam. The curve on the geometry exam is very unforgiving. It's very technically oriented. It's a tough one. It's one that we all struggle to kind of, figure out how to best prepare our students for. Geometry was my favorite math, and I was a math geek. But geometry was more alive when I took it. I find geometry today to be very kind of theoretical, and I think that may be part of the problem with it. So I kind of look forward to the state giving us some more leeway to do real life geometry and to make geometry make sense to kids. But I think we'll see a difference in that kind of thing, but the exam is not structured.
No, but all the numbers, it's beautiful to see. And you also mentioned something too about, I know I'm skipping ahead to the district plan, but you mentioned about leading kids to independence. In my head, I really think more of inner confidence. And, I wanted to thank everybody who participated in the district committee. It was a lot of parents, a lot of administrators and staff. Dr. Gallagher was there as well, and board members. This was it really took a lot of time and effort. So it's beautiful to see that we're staying true to it, that we're following through, and that we're able to provide our students and our families with everything in our district, almost with everything in our district so far, right? And that goes why the bond is also so important. You mentioned that. And the bond is going to be there to really give our students that need so they can continue to face the ever-changing challenges that our society is presenting to them in life and in the workforce. Sports, I know that Mr. Epstein goes above and beyond, and so do our coaches. I mean, if you just look at all of these accolades, it's fantastic. In our bond, we really do some hard work, some changes for our sports kids, for our sports families, so they can have access to facilities that will really help them grow in the level of sport that they love, as well as providing for students who are more academic-based or social-based. So the bond is very important, and the bond date is coming up very soon. So I also want to say too how our engagement with the community, I was going to thank at the end of our presentation, some of the staff who were here. They were at the Long Island Crisis Center walk, and some students were there as well, to be there for our community and to show that we all stand together and we support one another. Which just goes to show that we're teaching our children the compassion and the empathy that they need so they can become successful adults in any section. So once again, thank you so much for your presentation, and thank you again to everybody for all of your hard work.
Mr. Pinto, you have anything you want to add?
I agree with everything Ms. Conley said.
I would just add that one thing, and thank you, Dr. Gallagher, for such a wonderful presentation, so full. The only thing I will say is that I often say this, I look at everything we offer here and I want to go back to high school. That all I see is opportunity, and I think the cool thing is that there's opportunity for academics on every level, sports on every level, community engagement on every level. You know, when I was growing up, I didn't see those things. And I wanted to just share a quick personal story, because I think this also speaks to our staff, and some of the staff are actually in this room tonight that got my own daughter where she needs to go. She's a senior this year. And she actually got a letter that she's going to be inducted into the, what is it called? The National Honor Society. And for my daughter, that is a tremendous accomplishment, because she actually was a really struggling learner. She failed the geometry regions, and Miss Portman. We tried so hard to get her to pass. But school and academics were never her thing, and she has an IEP. But to the testament of our school district, nobody ever gave up on her. Nobody ever said, well, she's not an academic kid, we're just gonna let her slip through. And they kept pushing her, and they kept pushing her, and she's taking many advanced credits this year. She's a senior. And the fact that as a senior, she'll be inducted into this just speaks volumes to what can be accomplished here. And it's not just, you know, elementary school, middle school, it's not even the early years of high school. This is a kid who's literally almost 3 feet up. I mean, she's jumping out the door so fast, but yet she'll be inducted. So I just wanted to share that, because I think it really speaks to what we can accomplish here as a district, and that includes everyone, whether you're a community member or an administrator or custodian or whoever touches our children. It means a tremendous amount. So I just wanted to share that. And then I'm just gonna pass it on now to questions and comments from the. Sorry.
Can I just ask one more question? I forgot a question.
Yeah, sure.
Dr. Gallagher, you said that some of the staff would be trained in North Gilliam. Did that also
staff.
Oh, more staff. Did that also include some of the TAs who work with our students in the lower grades?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
Mr. DeVito, do you want to go first before?
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
You can take questions.
Okay, you want to do that first? So, yeah, and I'm not sure if we have any, but just opening it up for any questions or comments from the public for tonight's agenda. So far. No? Okay. Well, if anybody has anything.
Wait.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Hi, Shannon Kirk, Long Beach Martin Luther King Center. First, I want to start off by saying thank you, Ann, so much for coming over and volunteering and working with our kids as they need it. And I appreciate it. Thank you. And I appreciate all the tutors that you're sending over to the schools. Like, I don't want our kids to fall through the cracks. I'm big on education, and I'm big on education for the MLK Center. And I look forward to working closely with you guys to make sure not even just the education, but also the behavior. So they are teachable, that we work together so we can pull these kids up. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. DeVito.
Hey, good evening, everybody. We're going to speak a little bit about the proposed district-wide capital plan. We spent the past few meetings talking about it in detail, and this evening is more just a recap, just to make sure everybody remembers that the one thing I don't have on this is the vote date. Again, it's October 28th. It's just about a month from today. So we're going to have a special election where the community is going to come out and vote for whether they want to move forward with this. At the earlier September board meeting, the board did take action to approve some resolutions relating to this plan, relating to a special election, and now it's up to the community to weigh in and see if they're going to move forward with it. October 28th on a Tuesday, which is about a month from today. So the district-wide plan has school upgrades for every school, and it's just about shy of $87.7 million. And I just want to talk about some of the highlights. We have heating, ventilating, and air conditioning, HVAC, in all buildings. Our buildings now are almost all air conditioned, but it's with room units, window units for the most part. This will allow mechanical ventilating, which means we'll bring in fresh air from vents, so that we don't just have to open the windows. And it's a more efficient way of bringing in fresh air and cooling it in all of our spaces. So that's the main highlight in every building. Playground renovations, And for additions at all 4 elementary schools, a little bit later on, I have a couple of diagrams just as a sample of what some of those play spaces can look like. High school, middle school, field improvements. We're talking about in the back here of completely regrading, putting in irrigation, putting in sod for the back middle school field, turf at the high school for the ball fields, and the replacement of the turf field over at the high school. So both the middle school and the high school get major field improvements. So that's going to be also very popular for our community groups because these fields are used constantly, not just from the school district, but from our community athletic groups. High school and middle school locker room renovations, complete renovation of all the locker rooms at the middle school and the high school, boys and girls. We're going to add classroom space at the high school for marine science, carpentry, technology, and robotics. I have a floor plan that I'm going to show you in a moment that shows you what that's going to look like when we propose to build out the ground level of the addition that was built about 15 years ago, the last time we had a large-scale capital program. New wrestling room at the high school. Sorry, I skipped one. High school cafeteria renovation and family and consumer science classroom renovation. So major renovations for those spaces, the cafeteria and the BATS classroom, and a new high school wrestling room, new high school main entrance and walkway. At middle school in Lindell, auditorium and stage renovations. And then some basic maintenance, replacement of ceilings, walls, floors, doors, staircases, and sidewalks, district-wide, renovation of some bathrooms, some necessary ADA-related upgrades, and the replacement of the roof as a main example at the Long Beach Public Library, because the district owns that building, and we're responsible for maintaining just the building envelope, and one of the main items we have in the plan is the replacement of the roof. The project will be completed in 3 phases, starting in the summer of 2026. So if the community approves this plan on October 28th, about a month from today, the plans will go up to New York State, and there's a process of getting approval through the New York State Education Department. We hope that some of these elements, like the playground renovations and additions, can be fast-tracked because there is no long lead time in terms of waiting for the state education approval, so we can start working in the summer of 2026 on some of those high priority areas. And then some other more complicated, like the HVAC systems, we'll probably do the summer after that, and then finishing up the summer after that. So it'll probably be in these 3 phases, starting with summer of 2026. It's important to note that the district's building aid ratio is 42.4%, which means for every eligible dollar, and most of this $87.7 million is eligible for this building aid. Not every part of it, but most of it is. And the district receives 42 cents back in state building aid for every dollar spent, which is really important to help offset that debt service. Another important feature here, there are no additional taxes to be levied to support this large-scale project because the new debt service will replace the retiring debt service. So back in May of 2009, the community did approve about a $92 million bond that supported capital improvements throughout the district. That debt service is retired. Perfect timing to replace it with new debt service for the scope of work that I just highlighted. So in terms of financial planning, it's ideal to have the new debt service replace the old, so there's no additional taxes to be levied. What is this first floor at the high school going to look like? This right now is empty space. We have the addition for the 2nd floor and the 3rd floor over at the high school. So what we're proposing to do is build out that ground floor. Put in the new marine science classroom, the new robotics and technology classroom, the new wood shop and carpentry, some additional classroom space here. Outside access to bathrooms, so people who are using the field can use the bathroom in the building. Some more inside student bathrooms, new utilities for the metal shop, more interior staff bathrooms, a new entranceway, so that when you go to the high school and you're on the bay side, the bay is over here, it feels like you're really entering a high school. A walkway that'll take you from the from the marine science classroom all the way to the elevators here without having to walk outside. The new wrestling room will be here, which currently houses the carpentry, the wood shop and the photo lab. So wood shop will be here, co-located with our carpentry program. And the photo lab will move to another location in the high school and will take this whole space. This is where we have the cardio room and the weight room. We'll put in some student locker rooms, some more student bathrooms, some coaches' offices. So we'll have a wrestling space at the high school for those students. This is a sample of what we're thinking about in terms of the cafeteria. Some seats along the window here, another level to give it some dimension so it doesn't feel as cavernous, and then having the service lines changed, building from the center so that it really changes the whole feel of the high school cafeteria. These are some ideas for our elementary playground. We're going to completely overhaul east and west so that we have green space. It may not be turf, but there are these different surfaces now that it feels like you're really adding color, green, blue, soft surfaces. We're getting rid of all the wood chips because we know those aren't popular anymore. And we're going to put in new surfaces at all of our playgrounds. And here's an idea of what we want to do. Again, we're going to have committees, parent input to help decide on what the different elements are for each of the elementary playgrounds. Here's an idea of what we want to do at Lindell. We're not going to do anything to the actual play apparatus on the north side, but the south side where the pre-K and K students play, they need a new piece of playground equipment. That's an idea for Lindell. Any comments and questions from the board on this? Again, a recap, October 28th is the vote. The same polling locations that we have for our regular vote, Lindell, East, at the middle school auditorium, and it's a chance for the public to weigh in on whether they want to move forward with this plan. Thank you.
So first, I want to thank you for all of your hard work. I know this has been huge for the past few years. We've been discussing this on committee, and I'd like to thank Mr. Pinto as well for all of his hard work on this committee. It's been a lot of work. We were really trying to find ways on how we can ensure that we're maintaining our buildings and providing our students all that they need so they can be academically, socially, and athletically successful. So this really shows a lot of thought and a lot of care. I remember when we were talking about the marine science classroom and how excited the students were that they were actually going to be able to use their natural environment in their studies. And they were using the pond, and now, I mean, this just opens up so many more opportunities for our students. So I really want to thank you for it. I love the way you changed the high school cafeteria, so it's a little bit more open and hopefully more friendly for all of our students, so they want to sit there and eat and talk and hang out with one another. So what I want to ask you now is, can we have signs for the bond vote? Like put a big sign on, vote for the bond. Bond vote.
Okay, so I know that we're creating some banners for homecoming. There are signage in all of our buildings, so that's in there already. I don't know if we can put it across Lido Boulevard, but I know we can put it on our property, and we can have banners on our property.
Lido Boulevard is so packed, Mrs. DeVito.
I just don't know legally.
But we can put it on our property.
Yes.
And we can do it on Lindell's property over there,
Sure, we
right?
can
And we
certainly
can
do
put it
that.
on East by Neptune, and everybody puts, I mean, if we put up these big signs and nobody can say, oh, Mrs. Conway, I didn't know there was a bond vote on October 28th.
Right,
So I could say, you drive down the block, right? So if we could please put up signs and also on our website, just show like kids talking about how excited they are about the bond, advertising it, like how it's gonna
Put some,
benefit them.
maybe some testimony. I know we have,
Yes.
it's certainly featured on the website, but we can see what we can do to add some
Yes.
student testimonials on it, sure.
Just something, I mean, this is crunch time, it's
Mhm.
October is tomorrow, so we need it.
Yeah.
That's
4
my
weeks,
request.
4 weeks to count down.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead, Mr. Pinto.
I just want to reiterate everything that Andy just said, but no, seriously. Great work, everyone. We have to really get the excitement going for this because there's so much great opportunity coming out of this fund. And if we don't get the word out, people are not going to be aware. Once people see the benefits and the tax non-tax impact, they're really gonna think this is a great opportunity for us to make sure kids get everything they need and the community gets everything they need from the provisions of the school. So I want to reiterate, great work to everyone involved, and I really hope that we get the word out for this.
Thank you.
Just real quick, again, thank you for this presentation. It's so exciting to me. I will tell you, Dr. Smith, you should hear this. I was speaking to a kid the other day, I didn't know who this kid was. I was walking my dog, you know how you meet people on the street, and they were talking about cafeteria. They were talking about not supposed to have phones in the cafeteria. And they said, we're hoping we can get some foosball.
Already ordered.
Yeah.
So it'll be delivered in
Great minds think alike.
Already ordered.
That's right. Thanks.
And I actually do have a question regarding advertising, since, and I don't use it as often as some others, but social media seems to be a way that people get information out. Do we have anything that we can promote legally on social media? Yeah.
Well, if you think so.
Yeah, but that's
Right.
right, yeah, just to, that the vote is happening, not an advertisement, but just, bond vote, October 28th.
And I know the PTAs, have been making the rounds and speaking at the various PTAs, and they've asked for some bullet points so that they can share it on their social media
Yeah,
accounts. So
I mean, as we all know, I think now that's the best way to get information out to mass amounts of people.
thank you.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, approval of minutes for executive session, regular meeting of July 1st, 2025, executive session and regular meeting on July 22nd, 2025, executive session and regular meeting of August 19th, 2025, executive session and regular meeting of August 26th, 2025.
Motion, second.
Well, there we go. I have all those. Okay. Any discussion? No? Okay. Mr. Pinto?
Yes.
Ms. Conway?
Yes.
Ms. Belsey?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I did regret to say that in the beginning of the meeting. Josh was unable to attend this evening, he was at our earlier meeting, but he had to shoot out for our personal appointment, so he is sorry that he can't be here this evening. Moving on, I think we are now up to presentations of the superintendent.
Yes, I'd like to ask the board to consider item 1, certificate of personnel.
Motion. Second. Any discussion? Mr. Pinto?
Yes.
Ms. Conway?
Yes.
Ms. Belsey?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
And I'd like to congratulate Anthony Balsamo, who is our new interim vice principal at Long Beach High School. Congratulations.
Thank you for stepping up.
Can I know I said no discussion, but I do have a question about Jay. I just want to ask, I know we're going on, I just want to ask a question about it. Okay. How come it's not on Mondays? How come it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, not Monday? I don't know the answer to that.
That was the arrangement that we.
Monday meeting.
Oh, that's right, that's
Good contractual meetings on Monday, so we couldn't do it till 4 or after, so it wouldn't have been effective.
okay, thank you.
I'd ask the board to consider item 2, non-certificate personnel.
Motion. Second. Any discussion? Mr. Pinto?
Yes.
Ms. Belsey?
Yes.
Ms. Conway? And
Yes.
I vote yes.
I'd like the board to consider item 3, the appointment of the student ex officio board of education member.
Well, welcome.
Welcome,
I'll make the motion.
I'll
Thank
second it.
you. Awesome. Mr. Pinto?
Yes.
Ms. Conway?
Yes, and welcome. We're very excited to have you.
Ms. Belsey?
Welcome, yes.
Yes, and I vote yes, and welcome aboard.
And Grayson, usually once you're appointed on every agenda, there'll be an opportunity for you to make any announcements or say anything that you want to on behalf of the student organization. For tonight, we'll put you in the announcements section first when we get to that section. But congratulations, and thank you. 4 and 5 require no action. They're first readings of a new policy on tributes and memorials and a revised policy on field trips and school excursions. I'm going to ask the board to take items 6 through 10 together. Before I do that, I would like to introduce and thank representatives. If you look at number 8, it's a donation from the Michael Lyman Foundation of $5,000 for our new high school wellness center. And I would like to thank Officer Noel Hank and Tom Nyland, President of the Foundation.
Dr. Gallagher, I would just like to say, you might have done our discussion on that. Can I say
Sure.
something now?
Go ahead.
It's just very quick.
Go.
You know, the Michael Diamond Foundation is a wonderful community organization, and we are just so appreciative of this very generous donation, and we know that our wellness center is really going to use the money well. So once again, thank you so much for doing this for us.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have a second? Second. Thanks. Any discussion? I think we had discussion already, so I think we're good. Mr. Pinto?
Yes.
Ms. Conlon?
Yes.
Ms. Kelsey?
Yes.
And I vote yes, and thank you again. Thank you so much. I think we're up to new and old business of the Board of Education. Does anybody have anything they want to discuss?
I have one thing,
Go ahead.
two things. Our next meeting is when?
October 15th. Yeah.
All right, before October 15th, I think we have homecoming.
Yes,
And a reminder for homecoming, I think it's the weekend of the 10th,
Yes, it is.
and then Wall of Fame on the 11th, so a lot of stuff we're excited to look forward to. So keep that in mind before our next meeting.
Excellent. Anything else, Ms.
Yeah,
Conway?
I just have a question for Mr. DeVito. I know you have been doing a lot of work with our food services, and I know that sometimes food gets thrown out, food that has been unused or unopened. So I've actually looked into other schools that actually have this as well, and some of them have purchased refrigerators that students can open throughout the day, and like, if, say like it's an orange or an apple or closed milk, closed orange juice, kids would put it in there, or maybe the service workers would put it in there instead of throwing it out in the garbage. And if the student wanted, they could just take it as they're walking to class or walking outside or walking to a club
Before it's thrown out.
before it was thrown out. So it's just a thought, maybe if we could look into doing something like that for our students.
Right, I'm happy to look into it. I know we can't reserve something.
Right.
But I'll look into, if the student puts it in there and then another student can have access.
Instead of it being wasted, they.
I'll
Instead of
wait
being
for it.
wasted.
Yeah, I did.
Great.
I'm all about not wasting, so I'm on
Right.
board with that.
I know. All right, thank you.
I actually just have a question, and since we do have administrators in the room, Dr. Gallagher, you could probably speak to it, but I'm just kind of curious how everything is going with the cell phone ban. And, it was a lot of talk, there was a lot of noise, and then we haven't heard a thing, so I'm curious how it's going.
Yeah, I can fill you in, and if Dr. Smith has anything to add, you can jump in. But from all reports, very smoothly, still have to remind some people, still have to, tweak things here and there. But I think, we were in good shape last year, and I think our students were used to it. So whatever we had to tweak in terms of the new policy, I just don't think it was that big a deal. And I think, parents knowing that there are ways to contact their students, which they know. In an emergency, their students will be able to contact them, which we know. I think that's kind of cut down on some of the anxiety behind it.
Do we see anything positive that we were surprised about?
Yeah, a lot more.
I mean, the foosball table sounds like
Kids talk a little bit more,
fun.
And I heard that,
disconnect a little bit more.
I heard that from middle school too, that they're seeing kids in the
I love that. And heels of having the wellness center, I think it's nice that this is maybe gonna reduce a little bit of anxiety in our students, so that's a great thing. Okay, cool. We are up to, questions or comments from the public? Anything? Anybody stand with anything? No? Okay, all right, announcements. I think we're gonna start with Grayson, our ex officio, that's a big word, board member. Do you have anything you wanted to share with us this evening?
I'll keep it brief. So we had a pretty good start to the school year. We're definitely seeing a lot more engagement in the underclassmen clubs, which is cool. Definitely gonna help us out as we're gearing up for homecoming. That's really the big event that's coming up. So we're integrating more student sections for our home games. So in the football games leading up to homecoming, we had America out, we had Pink out. So this year for the theme for homecoming is Glow Code. So it's the same one we did last year. We had a school vote on it. Kids like the theme, to show up all black, and then you have to wear neon colors and stuff. So kids like that theme, kids voted
We
on
had
it.
like glow sticks and stuff?
Yeah,
Is
kids
that
wear
part
like
of it?
glow sticks, the neon
Cool.
hairspray, all that kind of
Oh, I
stuff.
love
So that's cool. This year for pep rally, we picked our games. So we usually do some kind of fundraiser, but this year we are not because it didn't really go over well last year with the students because kids didn't hear about it and then wanted to participate. So this year we decided not to, and we're just doing tug of war and a potato sack race for the pep rally. And then also the week of pep rally and homecoming, we have spirit week. So it's a way to show a healthy, fun way to have fun in school. And then we'll also be decorating the hallways the day of homecoming and then moving all those decorations out to the field for a pep rally. A picture will be taken for the PTS IDC. For the carnival games this year, we, instead of renting the games, purchased the games so we can hand down the games to future student organization clubs. So that'll hopefully save us money in the long run. Homecoming King and Queen nominations will be this Friday from 7:50 to 2:50 on the school website. So wish me good luck. I'll be running. So if you want. And then we'll be meeting with Dr. Smith for a roundtable discussion and meeting with Mr. Swan to talk about food in the cafeteria in the upcoming weeks. And then in the club, Dr. Moran is providing us with opportunities to learn about lobbying, government, voting, and more. And thank you so much for the opportunity to hear the presentations and speak to you guys. That's all. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. Awesome. Okay, Long Beach Classroom Teachers Association.
LBCTA, thank you for both presentations. Definitely looking forward to all of the improvements in all the buildings, but specifically the high school. Hopefully we'll still be able to see most of them. And congratulations and welcome to the new position for Anthony, and we look forward to working together.
Thank you. Administrative, supervisory, and PPS.
I echo what Karen said. Thank you for the presentation. Looking forward to bond and welcome to Swanson.
Thank you. Next up, LBSEA. Do we have anyone here from LBSEA? I don't think so, right? Last but not least, Parent Teacher Association.
Hi, Stephanie Maddington Beaver, so I'm stepping in. First of all, the PTA is very excited about the new bond proposal, especially for me personally, though we don't have a TED. So we are going to be putting the word out. We're just putting all the feelers out on social media. We're trying to make sure all parents know and that they're going to show up and they're going to vote. Because we're very excited about all the improvements in all of the schools. Second of all, as the school year is getting started, fundraising is starting to get underway. So the elementary schools are starting their fund run. Toledo just had their color run. I know Lisa's having their Lisa's on. Thank you so much, Dr. McNally, for showing up. And Lindau and West are going to be having their fun runs. The high school is currently selling lawn signs for $20 apiece, so that is their big fundraiser right now. So please show support your kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have nothing further. This meeting is adjourned. Oh, sorry. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Wait, hold on.
We did. Yeah, we did.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I'll second.
We have a second?
I'll
Thank
second.
you. Okay, now we're adjourned. All in favor?
Bye.
I forgot. Thank you.